Watching X-Men Evolution because 97 is gone, part 3. If you're new here, that's just my fun way of saying killing time till season 2. I joke in the high school aspect a lot about this show, but so far we've had class projects, basketball games, soccer games, school plays, and Xavier, Storm, and as many of the people in that mansion as possible do actually show up to all these things, and it really does a good job of reinforcing that the Institute is just a safe place for them to practice their powers. But outside of that, Xavier does want these kids to have normal lives and tries to be as much of a family for them as possible. That being said, we're going to call the first half of this season Crushes and Crash Outs because, man... So Scott and Jean aren't together in this show. It's a developing crush, but they're not a thing yet. So in this show, the bane of Scott's existence isn't Logan. It's a jock named Duncan.
Oh, Scott, that's okay. Duncan is driving me home.
Yeah. Hey, Sims. Maybe we'll even get lost along the way.
And then on the flip side, we got Avalanche just going crazy for Kitty and not knowing how to act about it. So after being told to knock it off multiple times, what does he do? He gets up in front of the entirety of Jean's championship soccer game and just snitches on everybody.
There's lots of mutants at Bayville High. Scott Summers over there, he's one, and so's Jean Grey, and most of their pals over at the Xavier Institute.
Kids are just like, well, cat's out the bag. They square up on the soccer field, beat the Brotherhood because Mystique ain't around to do it no more, destroy any footage of the day, and then Charles almost has a stroke wiping everybody's minds. Next episode, we meet Boom Boom, who has a crush on Kurt and thinks a training session is the best time to start flirting, ends up almost getting him killed and both of them grounded. Then her bad dad shows up basically asking her to commit crimes, even though her mom's gone so far as to having this guy blocked from visiting her at school and the X-Mansion. Later, her and Kurt sneak off to the school carnival where Jean's still with Duncan, so her homegirl basically goes off with Scott.
Oh, there she is. With Scott.
Boom and her dad try to rob the carnival money, they get caught, Pops goes to prison, and then she goes to the Brotherhood house, who minutes before her arrival just got their water cut off because there's no one around to pay the bills anymore. Episode 3, Jean's powers are on the fritz, but putting that to the side because the crash outs continue when Jean invites Scott to Duncan's party that he clearly wasn't invited to specifically. And just like Fresh Prince when Will wanted Jackie, now they're duking it out not over drinks but over the world's most intense game of ping pong.
Are they really playing ping pong?
Nope. Dueling.
And just like Bel Air, the prize female gets fed up, but before she can tell anyone off, her powers act up again. And again at track practice where she almost 86s half the team with all the throwing equipment. She then ends up going baby Phoenix at the mansion, and with the combo of touch and the power of professing your feelings to your high school crush, Rogue and Scott managed to bring her back to normal. Oh, by the way, Duncan was being a total dick at track practice and gets kicked off the team. Leading to our next episode where Jean's homegirl ain't letting up on Scott at all, and she is not taking it well.
I was not spying on you.
Wait a second. You were spying on me. Don't tell me you're jealous.
Mind you, right after this, she has Duncan drop her off to meet Scott. But this whole meetup is a setup by Nightcrawler and Kitty to strand them in the middle of nowhere so that they can throw a party at the mansion because Scott and Jean are supposed to be babysitting while Professor X is off trying to find out why Juggernaut's jail cell is failing, Storm is off in Africa, and Logan is off somewhere doing probably whatever he was doing when his team got murked in his new movie. And then Rose got this new friend she's been hanging around all season and takes this show's version of Arcade to Cerebro and found her way there rather quickly, I might add. Now this dude turns into Control Freak and thinks the Danger Room and the Teen Titans inside is a video game. Eventually they knock him out and he's still convinced it was all just a game. Also, we find out this whole episode was orchestrated by Rogue's homegirl, who's actually Mystique, and I guess we're ditching the Hulkish look that she got at the end of last season. We went for a literal darker costume and color scheme with fangs. Personally, not against this look. I don't think that the one she had at the end of Asteroid M would have worked longevity-wise. Also, a lot of plot points this episode that they actually tie in together very nicely. Just felt the need to point that out. 5th episode, we finally get to meet Beast having a real big Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde moment, but whenever he starts to lose it a little bit, he starts reciting Shakespearean poetry to calm himself down.
If thou speakest false, upon thy next tree shalt thou hang alive!
Like, Hank, you couldn't pick a different passage to recite to your black student? But the whole episode is basically Hank has been using drugs for years now to keep the Beast at bay and it's not working anymore, so he's finally starting to turn. When he does, he loses his mind, but the team, with a combination of Spike and some homework he was given, manages to bring him back and the X-Men get a new roommate. Episode 6, Scott's basically hanging at the beach with his brother trying to catch up on old times and bond, but the storm comes in mid-surf and now they're both lost at sea, and they basically have a good old Gilligan adventure till help arrives.
Jean, sit here with us.
Hi, guys. I was looking for Duncan.
Yep, 7 episodes in and this is still going on. But other than that, we get an auntie-nephew training session with Spike and Storm and see our first look at this show's version of Storm's claustrophobia in action. And then we find out Spike is flunking out of school and being sent home, and then is lashing out at everyone about it. Which is so weird because out of everyone in this show so far, he's had the most episodes and interactions with his teachers and educators about second chances and learning a lesson, only to find out it was basically going out the window every time. Also, we find out Storm is being haunted and hunted by some Africans with a grudge. This guy named Hungan steals her spirit, Spike manages to get it back, and then this happened.
You want my powers, Hangan? Here's more than you can handle!
That guy's definitely dead, right? Like the X-Men just witnessed a murder. Anywho, Storm and Spike's mom agree that he can stay at the X-Mansion, and I'm just hoping he doesn't waste this 15-second chance he's been given in 2 seasons. This was basically this show's version of Life Death. 8th episode, Avalanche gets sick of living in the projects and pulls up to the X-Mansion, asking to join the team. Why he couldn't do this in the daytime is beyond me.
Hey!
Hi, Lance. Long time no see.
Yeah. Where you been, old buddy?
In a house with running water and electricity, and honestly, can you blame him? I know that hallway smells crazy right now, and it ain't just cause of Blob. I do like the continuity in this show, though, because throughout this episode, Kurt is doing chores all over the mansion because he is still on punishment from episode 2. Iceman, Jubilee, and a bunch of the newbies wreck the X-Van and Scott's car. Because Lance is the new bad guy turned good, he gets blamed, and then they have the nerve to go joyriding again.
Lance, wake up. We're going on another joyride. You want to come with us? You're going to get the blame anyway.
How messed up is that to basically wake someone up premeditated to let them know they're going down for a crime they ain't commit? Then these knuckleheads joyride the X-Jet, the one that Kurt spent the whole episode waxing, and the one at the beginning of this episode they all failed the flight simulator for. Lance and Kitty board the plane, helped them not get shot down by the military, and then Lance decided living in the ghetto was easier, so he just gives everyone the finger and leaves. The last episode for this batch, this is the longest of the 4 seasons, by the way, but it's Christmas time at the X-Mansion and everybody's exchanging gifts. Yes, I'm shamelessly plugging an interview right now. That is my homie Hellspawn Cosplay. That is his nickname for Scott Summers in all continuity. No, I'm not saying it out loud. However, damned if it don't apply to this review, because there's been this illusion all season that Rogue has a crush on Scott, but boy is it blatant in this episode. Also, maybe because it's a Christmas episode, but the animation gets like really fluid here. Like the quality gets upscaled to big name Disney animation straight to DVD sequel, which isn't a bad thing.
It's sure going to be lonely around here when all these guys leave tomorrow.
Yeah, really.
But it could be fun, you know. Just us, the prof, Mr. McCoy. Hey, I got something for you.
And of course, Phoenix is in her feelings again. B-plot for this episode, we have Angel basically stopping crimes, being the holiday savior for people, but the news is telling folks it's aliens, which is a cop-out that they use a lot this season. Like, they don't want mutants or superpowered beings being publicized to the world, but they have no problem blaming any and all things on UFOs like every chance they get. Anywho, Xavier thinks they should investigate, and then...
Someone should go to the city. Perhaps we could recruit him.
Yeah, we could go. I mean, you know, Scott and I.
At this point, her and Jean just go out the box. Winter gets to take on Terry. Magneto pulls up incognito looking like Solomon from Symbiotic Titan and frames Angel so the public turns against him. So then, of course, he pulls up in full costume later for the failed recruiting attempt. But honestly, Scott and Rogue, pretty efficient tag team for taking down an Omega level mutant. Magneto leaves, Angel takes off, Scott and Rogue go home, and then we get a montage of everybody who has a home to go to, enjoying a Merry Christmas with their family. I know this was a longer cut than usual, but like I said, this is the longest of the 4 seasons, and this was still only half of it. But I'm still thoroughly enjoying every episode of this series so far. Also, peep, the last video took off on Facebook of all places. But everybody who's been showing this series love over there, or here if this is where you're watching, thank y'all. I truly appreciate y'all like so much. And to those of y'all who've been watching it everywhere else too. Personal channel, closing on 2,000 subscribers. Please contribute if you can. I actually have an X-Men playlist, so if you want to watch the rest of this series, or if you want to watch my first time going through the original X-Men cartoon, you can find all of that here. This is the podcast channel, closing in on 4,000 subs. Again, contribute if you can. As you can see, a lot of recent heat has dropped. Got to talk to Kevin on stage. You know, he's been on his anime journey all summer. Najee Jeter, who does the voice of Miles Morales in the video games. Chase Conley, who actually worked on X-Men 97. Cleo Thomas, who during this interview actually announced a new movie that he's going to be in coming out soon. And then this Friday, we're actually airing our interview with Tatan Wakanda, who played young King T'Chaka in Black Panther and in What If. Really dope conversation, and we always do premieres, so if you want, you can come and live chat with us during. That's the video. That's what time it drops. If you got some free time Friday night, come and kick it with us. And if you do want to watch with us, be sure to click the bell so you don't miss it. Again, had a lot of fun filming and editing this. It was a real interesting and insightful conversation. Yeah, that's basically it for now. Again, if you have made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. And the way I'm tackling this series, we're about 3 parts in, 5 more to go. But for now, thank y'all for watching. Have a great rest of your week. See y'all next X-Men Evolution Wednesday.